Boxing just exploded once more, ladies and gentlemen. Laila Ali, a legend's daughter, just lost it. She also didn't hold back this time. Laila looked directly into the camera during what was intended to be a quiet conversation on live television, unleashing a storm that was directed at Claressa Shields. She spoke without trembling. She spoke without faltering. My father's name was tarnished by you. The entire studio fell silent with that one sentence. The crowd went silent. The host was at a loss on where to look. Claressa had been yelling at Laila, making fun of the Ali legacy, and hurling insults like it was a sport for weeks. However, no one anticipated that Laila would respond in this manner. In a matter of seconds, the internet became viral. The feed is overflowing with reaction videos, edits, remixes, and hashtags. It was overdue, according to some. Some referred to it as cold-blooded. However, one thing is evident. The Queen just reminded the world that brought her up. Because Laila Ali's words are more than just personal. It is historical. And that past returned tonight with more force than any blow Claressa's had ever delivered. Laila Ali appeared more composed than ever before the question was spoken. The camera was rolling, and the lights were dazzling. What do you think of Claressa Shields claiming that your father's legacy passed away with him, Laila? The air shifted at that point. As if the oxygen had been drawn out, the room was silent. For a moment, you could see it. That fire, that Ali blood, as Laila leaned forward, her face inscrutable. She inhaled deeply, gave a little smile, and uttered the words that sent shockwaves through the internet. My father's name was tarnished by you. The host stopped blinking. The crew was undecided on whether to cut or continue rolling. Laila's voice remained steady. It cut like steel through the microphone. You don't get to use my father's name for clout, she said. Went on. The boxing world was suddenly engulfed in flames again. He fought with honor. You fight with hashtags. Boom! Clips from that live interview were being circulated worldwide in a matter of seconds. TikTok, SportsCenter, and TMZ are all repeating the same 5 seconds of rage. In the comments, fans started yelling. Laila simply laid her to rest. At last, she said something. All of the energy was released. Claressa Shields, meantime, was live streaming her morning workout without realizing that her name would soon be broadcast on every channel worldwide. Midway through, a notification rang on her phone. The top trending artist is Laila Ali. At first, she thought it was just another mention in an interview, so she laughed. Then she noticed the quotation. Her expression changed. That smile vanished. What? She said, and Claressa mumbled. Her personal trainer attempted to dismiss it. However, Claressa was unable to ignore it. Ignore it, champ. You're on top now. It was royalty, not another combatant, who had attacked her ego. In the meantime, Twitter was collapsing in real time. The moment was being replayed by fans as if it were a knockout. Laila's clip was altered with dramatic music and uploaded by someone. Legends speak, and then there is silence. Within 1 hour, it reached 1 million views. Every prominent sports blogger began to analyze it. On-air ESPN anchors discussed it. Laila Ali was back in her home office, quietly scrolling through the turmoil when someone commented, "This isn't about boxing anymore. This is legacy warfare." The headlines were all the same. Claressa Shields are attacked in real time by Laila Ali. This wasn't a tirade, though. There was a message. One sentence after years of silent dignity. Despite the insults from Claressa, the memes, the interviews, and the dead legacy statement, she had remained mute. The last straw, though, was seeing her father's name used as a marketing slogan. Laila didn't even intend to say anything, according to later insiders. It was released just now. She had been suppressing it for months, according to a close acquaintance. However, Claressa had no intention of playing the victim. 2 hours later, she was tweeting again. Perhaps legacy isn't what you believe it to be if stating the truth is a disgrace. Boom. The second round. The responses were exploding. More than ever, fans were split. Team Laila was half the world. Honor the legend. Team Claressa made up the other half. Come on over. It's the new queen. Even famous people joined in. Laila's was liked by Serena Williams. Clip. Jake Paul tweeted, "Someone call me. I'll promote this fight myself." However, the audience failed to notice the emotional aspect of the statement. There was grief beneath Laila's composure. She fell silent as the cameras stopped, according to those who knew her. Scrolling through old photos of her father, she sat by herself in her dressing room. She whispered something that one of the crew heard. She refused to let it go, even though he would have. Not now, however, Claressa went into full defensive mode. In reality, she was furious, but she captioned a photo of herself shadowboxing with the words, "Still undefeated, still unbothered. The buzzing on her phone persisted. Communications from coaches, promoters, and even her mother. Everyone was curious about her reaction. "Champ, what are you going to do?" After one message was read, the story suddenly became more significant than either of them. News anchors called it a clash of modern-day icons. Sports shows featured split-screen footage of both women, one serene and regal, the other fierce and defiant. It was more than just words. It was a cultural earthquake. Then came the leaked footage. Before going live, Ila appeared nervous, pacing, clutching her phone, and reading a message repeatedly. Fans later learned that it was a text from her cousin. "Stop letting her play with a family name. Say something." The clip went viral, and people began to analyze motives, family pressure, and hidden feelings. One commentator said, "Laila didn't attack Claressa. She stood up for her family." Claressa was not about to back down, though. She was clearly revved up when she went live on Instagram later that night. "Let's get things straight," she said, her training-induced perspiration still dripping. "Nobody owns boxing, not even the Alice. If I'm the villain because I'm defending myself, then so be it." Her fans cheered. The comment section exploded with fire emojis. But what shocked everyone was what came next. Claressa's PR manager leaked an old DM exchange between the two women, a conversation that allegedly happened months ago, long before the feud went public. In it, Ila had written, "You've got talent, but you talk too much. Additionally, you don't talk enough," Claressa retorted. The internet went crazy after that leak, with TikTok edits, memes, remixes, millions of views, and millions of opinions. Despite everything, both women remained cooped up in their corners, leaving one legacy in place and another growing. By the following morning, reporters were gathered outside Ila's gym, microphones and cameras flashing. Gym. Microphones and cameras flashing. "Laila, will you fight her?" She waved. One shouted, but she didn't respond. Instead, she simply smiled, repositioned her sunglasses, and walked past them. However, inside the gym, witnesses claimed that something had changed. She put on gloves, slammed the bag hard, and that one video of Laila Ali training again after years of retirement went viral. Fans cried out online, "Is this real?" Sports pages wrote, "Laila Ali seen training after explosive interview," while Claressa Shields posted a single word on Twitter. At last, the world froze. Everyone knew what that meant. The feud had just descended into a fight, and the sound of punching bags reverberated throughout the private gym, the rhythm sharp, deliberate, and irate. Fire. But what no one knew yet was that this was not a one-time workout, but preparation. Quiet, focused, and dangerous. Insiders claim that Ila had been training covertly for weeks prior to the outburst, studying tapes of Claressa Shields, sparring with old coaches, and bringing back her father's methods. One anonymous trainer leaked to an online outlet saying, "She's not doing this for show. She's doing this to prove something." Meanwhile, Claressa wasn't keeping quiet either, doubling down on her next tweet saying, "Legacies are for the past. For the future, I struggle." It reached 1 million views in a matter of minutes. Sports commentators began analyzing every remark as if it were a proclamation. According to one anchor, "Charlora is fighting a ghost, not just Ila. The war has officially spread around the world. Every podcast, talk show, panel, and YouTube gossip channel became a digital boxing ring." Muhammad Ali's old interviews reappeared, including clips of him criticizing opponents and saying, "I don't talk to be liked. I speak in order to be heard." "She is the daughter of her father," fans said. Again, others retorted, "No, the issue is that she's attempting to be her father." Imagine it. Ali versus Shields. 2 eras, 2 dynasties, 1 crown. The biggest women's fight in history. If this happens, it'll break every pay-per-view record, an anonymous executive told The Athletic, revealing that promoters were salivating behind the scenes. Forget about Holyfield versus Tyson. This will be larger. However, Ila wasn't discussing contracts. In fact, she wasn't speaking to reporters, admirers, or even to her public relations staff. She was confined. Her daughter subsequently shared a mysterious post. "Mom has been acting strangely recently. Concentrated." Then TMZ struck again. A leaked video surfaced. Low quality, grainy, but real enough to shake the world. It showed Ila sparring with a young female fighter and whispering between rounds, "She wants legacy. I'll give one to her." The clip went viral instantly. The comment sections were chaos. "She's coming for her. This is personal." Ali blood is boiling again. Claressa saw it within minutes. She laughed, but not the kind of laugh you post publicly. It was a smirk full of disbelief and pride. "She really training?" she muttered during a live stream. "Good. Together, let's create history." Then, as if feeding the flames on purpose, she added, "But she better remember I conclude legends. They are not worshipped by me." That single line sent shockwaves through sports media. I end legends. It was everywhere. Pinned tweets, highlight reels, reaction thumbnails with fire emojis. Even celebrities weighed in. LeBron James reposted the clip with 3 YD emojis. Serena Williams commented, "Now it's personal." But the storm was only just beginning. 2 days later, Candace Parker hosted a televised panel titled Legacy versus Legacy. Should Laila Ali return? Guests included retired champions, analysts, and one former Ali trainer. Everyone had an opinion. One said, "She's too old for this." "Her greatness is in her DNA," retorted another. Age is irrelevant. By the end, the only conclusion was that the world was addicted to the drama. Behind the cameras, the story was darker. Reports emerged that both fighters were getting anonymous threats online. Laila's team claimed people were spamming her gym with prank calls. Claressa's camp said her car was vandalized outside her Michigan facility. This went beyond boxing, her manager told The Ring. It became tribal. Still, both women refused to back down. Claressa scheduled a press conference unannounced, unfiltered, unbothered. She walked in wearing her gold championship belt-like armor, looked at the reporters and said, "Let's settle it." March 12th rounds in Vegas. She says, "I treated her father disrespectfully." Show it. The room exploded. Reporters shouted questions over each other. Has Illa agreed? Has the contract been signed? Claressa simply grinned and replied, "She will." Then she walked out. No handshake, no closing statement, just fire. That clip was replayed everywhere. One outlet captioned it. Claressa Shields calls out Laila Ali for $25 million Vegas showdown. Fans flooded comment sections with "Run it" and "This is the fight we need." Meanwhile, inside Laila's camp, panic met pride. Her closest advisors begged her not to respond. One insider told Sports Hive, "She doesn't need this fight. She's already legendary." However, Laila was more concerned with legacy than comfort. She informed her staff, "I'll respond publicly because she publicly called me out." The following morning, Good Morning America began with Illa sitting calmly on stage as the host questioned, "Is it true that Claressa challenged you to a fight in Vegas?" "I don't shy away from challenges," Illa stated with a smile as she leaned into the microphone. "I only pick those that are worthwhile." The audience erupted and she said, "Tell her to send the contract if she wants to experience what true greatness is like." Boom, internet meltdown. Ali versus Shields started trending in 42 countries. TikTok flooded with fan edits. Muhammad Ali on one side, Laila Ali on another. Claressa punching the camera in slow motion with rap beats under it. Even sports betting apps began offering early odds. But behind that smile, there was pressure. Insiders say Laila's family was divided. Some relatives wanted her to honor her father's legacy by fighting. Others begged her to protect it by staying out. One of her uncles reportedly said, "Muhammad fought the world. He would also advise her to fight." Claressa didn't wait for her family's blessing. She was giving interviews on all platforms and every hour. Her dad declared himself the greatest, and she said on one podcast, "They called me disrespectful. I call it being real. I'm only demonstrating that I'm next." Not even her public relations team could stop her. Each of her videos became viral. Each quotation was turned into a headline. Then something unexpected happened. A voicemail purportedly from a member of Laila's camp to a prominent network executive was published online. "The doctors want her to rest for another month," the voice replied. "She's not ready yet." The fans went crazy. Sleep? Was she hurt, hiding? The theories become irrational. She was buying time, according to some. Others asserted that Claressa's psychological tricks were effective. Claressa doused the rumor fire with gasoline just as it was about to extinguish. She shared a story on Instagram while standing beneath. The photo that went viral was a mural of Muhammad Ali with the statement, "Respect the legend, but remember legends fall too." For 3 days in a row, ESPN replayed it. It was deemed the most disrespectful thing since McGregor-Mayweather's trash talk by sports anchors. Even Claressa's admirers were silenced by what followed. At last, Illa snapped out of it. She went live late one evening. No PR filter, no makeup, just unadulterated passion. Softly, she said, "Claressa, you keep claiming that when my father passed away, his legacy perished. Legacy, however, endures. It resides in everyone who values honor. The hard way will teach you that. Subsequently, she stopped, gazed directly into the camera, and muttered, "See you soon." The internet went wild. The internet went down. It was dubbed the most peaceful thread in history by boxing blogs. After an hour, Claressa responded. "Be careful what you wish for," reads one tweet. That was it. Interviews are over. Jokes are over. Quiet. Both sides apparently started private contract negotiations the following morning. Streaming networks, investors, and promoters are all vying for viewers' attention. According to one unnamed insider, a $30 million deal with an equal split was up for grabs. The entire world waited. Fans were reloading pages on social media as if it were election night. The strain was intolerable. It was best expressed by sports journalists. Belts aren't important anymore. It's about ambition versus bloodline. And one thing became evident during the quiet before the announcement. It wasn't just Claressa and Laila. The world wasn't prepared for what was about to happen, and it was the greatest versus the future. The headlines came as a shock. Final negotiations are underway for a $30 million superbout deal between Ali and Shields. In a matter of minutes, all American sports outlets were on high alert. The same narrative is being blasted by Fox Sports, ESPN, TMZ, and even the BBC. The drama, the legends, the daughters. It had everything. However, there was a maelstrom that neither woman could control beneath those headlines. The contract was authentic. The conversations were taking place in a luxury room in Beverly Hills, according to sources. Promoters, investors, and lawyers are all attempting to keep a contract based on ego intact. Claressa's group desired complete control of the walkout. Her terms, her music, and her camera angles. Legacy respect stipulations were desired by Laila's side. No trash talk during weigh-ins, no disparaging remarks, and a donation to the Muhammad Ali Foundation. Each request was a battleground. One meeting almost ended, according to insiders, when Claressa's manager chuckled at the legacy provision and remarked, "She's not fighting a ghost." "She's fighting me." Went viral right away after being leaked online. The fans went nuts. Another responded to the tweet that said, "Claressa is bold for this, but she's poking royalty." Contracts don't conceal royalty. The hype machine had gotten out of hand. Millions of people were listening to sports podcasts that broke down every leak. YouTube thumbnails cried out, "The fight that will define generations." After years of obscurity, boxing was once again a hot topic. The official news conference followed. In Las Vegas, the MGM Grand was crowded. The walls are lined with cameras. Every continent's reporters waited. Claressa sat on one side of the stage, beaming and self-assured, her belt piled in front of her like war trophies. Hila, wearing her father's trademark black and white robes, sat on the other side, composed and composed. There was an electric tension. Claressa leaned in front of the microphone before the questions even began, saying, "They said I disrespecting her father. I simply stopped bowing to a shadow." The crowd gasped, but Hila didn't flinch. Instead, she gave a slight smile before stating, "You stopped bowing because you never learned to stand for something." The stage had become a verbal battleground. Claressa slammed her hand on the table, her voice sharp. "You had your time." "I'm what's next." Hila responded, "You're what's loud, not what's next." Reporters scrambled live tweeting every second. And within 10 minutes, clips of the argument hit TikTok, already receiving millions of loops. The moderator attempted to refocus the conversation, but it was too late. Up 5 million views before the press conference even ended, but there was one moment that you didn't see on camera. A hot mic captured Claressa whispering to her coach during a break between questions. "She's scared. Look at her hands." However, when the clip appeared online later that night, people noticed something startling. Laila's hands weren't shaking. They were steady, perfectly calm, and it was Claressa's voice that broke the illusion. That was the first time the internet started to doubt the GW. The following morning, TMZ released yet another leak, this time audio from a private meeting between Claressa and her promoter. "If I lose this, I lose everything," she said quietly. "But if she loses, I'm the one with..." That line struck a chord because, for the first time, it wasn't arrogance but fear. Nevertheless, the machine continued to run. Ali versus Shields, The Legacy Lives. Interviews were scheduled. Sponsors signed. Documentaries teased. Netflix announced a special. Showtime confirmed live coverage. It was the biggest fight in women's boxing history. However, 3 days prior to the fight announcement, chaos broke out again. A hacker group going by the name of the Ring Rats leaked internal emails between promoters, one of which claimed that Laila's medical team had expressed concerns about her conditioning, and another that stated that Clarissa's camp wanted the fight postponed because of training logistics. In other words, both sides were panicking. The internet went crazy. It's bluffing. Someone's scared. Then came Fight Week, or what was supposed to be Fight Week, with reporters swarming Las Vegas, billboards everywhere, the faces of both fighters staring down from the strip, cameras flashing, shouting, and Claressa arriving first. Hila responded in the only way she knew how, silently and powerfully. She posted a black and white video of herself training in an empty gym, hitting the bag in slow motion, without words or captions, just the sound of leather against leather. Claressa reposted it with the word cute, which rekindled the whole controversy again. We can create history. She appeared invincible until hours later, when Hila's camp issued an unexpected statement. Due to medical advice, Laila Ali will not be participating in the scheduled event. Further updates will follow? The crowd gasped, and fans were incensed. Some called it fear, while others called it fate. Claressa posted a simple broken heart emoji with a caption that read, "So this is how legacies end." However, the true story was much deeper, as insiders revealed that Hila had fainted during a training session 2 days earlier due to exhaustion and dehydration. Nothing fatal, but enough to cancel everything. When pictures of her in a hospital bed, smiling, waving with a robe draped across her lap, the same people who had been calling her a coward hours earlier began to flood her comments with prayers, saying, "You're still the champ. Ali blood never quits." For the first time in months, Claressa remained silent. No tweets, no interviews, no lives, and her camp issued a single statement. "We wish Hila a speedy recovery. The ring will wait." For once, there was no trash talk, just respect. Weeks went by and documentaries were broadcast. Laila's story became an emotional legend, with magazine covers, sponsors, and a comeback that was cut short but never forgotten. But then something unexpected happened. Months later, at an award ceremony, Claressa walked on stage to accept Athlete of the Year. The audience cheered, but Laila Ali sat smiling in the front row. When Claressa finished her speech, she paused, looked at Hila, and said, "For every word that hurt, I said it to make people listen. Before I was even born, you got them to pay attention." The crowd fell silent, then erupted in cheers. Cameras captured Hila's tears as she stood, walked on stage, and gave Claressa a hug. 2 eras, 1 stage, no punches, no pride, just peace. That image went viral all over the world. It was history, not rewritten, but reborn. And somewhere every true boxing fan knew Muhammad Ali would have been proud. And that's how legends collide, ladies and gentlemen. What began as a verbal spar became a mirror of boxing soul, pride, power, and pain, all wrapped in one unforgettable feud. Laila Ali didn't just defend her father's name, she reminded the world what it means to stand for something. And Claressa Shields. She didn't just throw punches. She made a legacy wake up and fight back, because that's what true greatness looks like. It's messy, emotional, and loud. It's history fighting itself. Hila and Claressa fought for the past and the future, respectively. And somewhere in the middle, they both made the present unforgettable. But don't worry, this story isn't over yet. Rumors are already, this story isn't over yet. Rumors are already, did that never happened. However, perhaps that's the true victory, because women's boxing is now front-page history instead of background noise. Flame. And somewhere out there, Muhammad Ali's spirit is watching, grinning, and aware that his name still stops the world. Tell me whose legacy is truly louder. Leave a comment, hit the like button, and remember to subscribe, because this story is far from over.